Hello YouTube world, welcome to another Canna News segment. I will be your host today and every other day, Katie. Hello. So I have 4 articles or stories or news bits and pieces to go over today. One of them's going to delve into something that I don't really talk about because I don't really know anything about it really. But having said that, the title of this video, you might have already guessed what it's about, so stay tuned for that because I know this is going to be a heated discussion in the comments and I know that most of you are going to want to get your opinion across. So there will be chapters across this whole video if you don't want to listen to certain parts, and you can just skip to that as you please. For those of you who know how I do this, or rather how I used to do this, I used to be able to pull up the article that I was talking about on the screen and share it with you. However, YouTube doesn't like that very much because of the nature of my videos. They are canna related, and so usually there's a lot of leaves or flowers that are on the screen that YouTube does not like. So what we do now is we talk about the subject in hand, and every single article that I speak about today will be linked in the description for you to go and read at your own leisure, going deeper if you wish to. I will let you know what they are down below. So I won't be going in date order today as I usually do. However, these are very, very recent articles and I wanted to put them into certain places really just because of the nature of what they contain. So we're going to start off slow and easy, having said that, and the first article is from ABC Money, and this was written on the 11th of October 2024. The title of it is Medical Canna Sparks Innovation and New Opportunities in Business. Now, just a quick disclaimer for those of you who are maybe clicking on this video for the first time, I may be using words like canna or flower instead of the full word, and again that is because of the YouTube bots that will pick this up in the video and will stop it being pushed out to the majority of people. So this is why we change words. It goes on to explain that the medical canna industry in the UK, so we are talking about the UK here, is booming, and it is not just benefiting patients, it's creating plenty of job opportunities for business as well. So it goes on to say, from private clinics to innovative tech companies, canna farms, and even overseas investment opportunities, this sector is growing and it's growing fast. Now, this is something that we already know as patients, right? We have seen quite a lot of talk that has been risen about this whole subject, specifically this year. I've been doing these news segment videos since last year, and for the last couple of videos that I've done this year, you can definitely see that there is a lot more talk about it as opposed to the negative kind of vibe that we were getting last year in November. I'm not sure whether this entire thing is an ad for a specific clinic because it does name a specific clinic, so I will not be naming them and I will just be giving you the context of it around what the basis of this is. So it says companies like certain clinics are leading the charge, providing accessible canna treatments. They are the first clinic in the UK to offer patients access to a medical canna card. A little bit of a clue as to who that might be there. Designed with police support and patient convenience in mind. This could be an entire new video, couldn't it? Because I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the clinic and what they're doing right there. I really don't. I don't believe them, personally. But we'll go past that and we'll continue on. Like I said, if you want to read this article entirely, it will be put down below in the description. The rise of private medical canna clinics. Private medical clinics are a breath of fresh air for patients seeking alternatives to traditional treatments. Clinics like X are giving people faster access to canna-based therapies. Gone are the long waits and restrictive NHS processes, making these private services increasingly popular. Right, but they haven't specifically said there about the amount of money that it costs us as patients, right? So no, we may not have long waits and restrictive NHS processes, but to tell you the truth, I think as patients we probably would like some form of NHS help. The article goes on to say how new job creation and investment opportunities are rising. And this is great, right? This is great to hear because we, as patients and anybody that is in this industry, wants it to do well, right? I've said it before. We're very, very archaic in what we do. The UK just does not change their ways. So, in order to have this be so prevalent as it is right now in this year is truly something amazing, like an actual miracle that we're even talking about it so much so. So that's the first one, really, just to say about how the boom is happening in the UK. There's definitely a rise of clinics opening up. There's lots and lots of new information being pushed into the flower power community. So, the second article that we're going to go over today was posted by The Guardian in the UK, and this was on Sunday, the 6th of October 2024. This article is pretty scary, to tell you the truth. It's basically claiming that they have found some vapes that have contained synthetic cannabinoids. University of Bath researchers found 7 vaporizers sourced from the US contained dangerous SC compound. What is that? I don't know, so I'll tell you because I wanted to know too. SC compound is a chemical compound that contains the element scandium. That sounds great, doesn't it, guys? Oh, can I get a bit of scandium, please? Scandium's chemistry is primarily dominated by the trivalent ion Sc3+. So, yeah, it's a synthetic cannabinoid. It's not real, and it has been found in 7 vapes in Bath. So, a new study from the University of Bath has revealed that 7 vaporizers claiming to contain canna actually contained a much more dangerous synthetic cannabinoid, SC compound, what we've just gone over. Earlier this year, the same lab published a study showing that over 1 in 6 vaporizers confiscated from school children in the UK also contained SC. Great, great. So if you've got kids, please just make sure that they don't have this random vape from the US that contains this SC. Like I said, this is kind of scary, really, because those of you who are maybe my age might remember something called salvia. Salvia is an awful, awful, awful thing to take, and it was easily accessible in the early 2000s. It's a synthetic, so it's legal. It's a legal high, right? And this just brings me back to that because that was a horrendous, horrendous experience. And so if there's anything like that that can give these school kids that kind of experience, So, parents, please make sure that your kids aren't using these vapes contained with SC. So, one of these people that actually found these vapes that contained this was an experienced canna smoker. They were an experienced smoker, but they decided to switch to vaping because they thought it was less harmful. Now, my problem with this is that it doesn't say that he is a medical smoker, right? So this person is a illicit black market consumer. I don't know whether they have any idea about medical and whether it's the accessibility, right? I don't know if they know about this. So how scary is it that there are multiple people out there buying black market stuff when they're probably just able to get it through medical safer? Like, that shit scares me. That shit scares me. The fact that people are just getting it like willy nilly and being like, yeah, I'll just try it because they think it's safer. Like, so it goes on to say here that canna is illegal in the UK without a prescription. So they do reference it here. But what's interesting is it says that this person got the vaporizers from a friend who sourced them from the US. When the person first started using these vapes, they described the effects as strong but enjoyable. But after a while, they started to develop stomach cramps and irritability. Then, when they tried to stop using the vape, they started to experience symptoms that are really consistent with synthetic cannabinoid withdrawal. Sorry, I didn't even know that was a thing. Panic attacks, severe anxiety, things like that. Bro, if you're gonna get withdrawals, get it from the actual real thing. Blows my mind. I didn't even know that could happen. I didn't even know that synthetic narcotics were able to give you that withdrawal effect. Wow, learn something new every day. So this article will be put into the description again if anybody would like to delve into this deeper, if you have children that you've seen vapes of or anything like that. The third article I'd like to speak about came out on October the 9th, 2024. Now, this has nothing to do with news, but I thought I would bring your attention to it, as there may be some viewers and watchers of my channel that are really interested in this sort of thing. So, we are coming up to the 6th year, fucking 6th, of medical canna being legalised. And as such, we have a celebrating medical canna week. Kind of like an awareness thing, right? So, because of this, there is a few celebrations that are happening in the UK, and this is to obviously celebrate the law change. And it's really interesting because it says here that a series of informative public events will take place this November, hosted by a cohort of the UK's foremost canna prescribing clinics. And this is part of the Medical Canna Awareness Week. These events aim to engage with the public and the patients and the wider community, shedding light on the UK's medical canna prescription system and the potential benefits of cannabis-based treatments. So there is one called An Evening About Medical Canna, and this will be held in 3 cities. The first of which will be Edinburgh on the 5th of November. Then we have London, the 6th of November, and Cardiff, the 7th of November. It goes on to say that each event will provide attendees with the opportunity to hear from prescribing doctors, patients currently taking the cannabis medicine, and industry professionals, helping you gain practical knowledge about the UK canna system and a deeper understanding of the ways in which it is prescribed. So this is really, really good. I just wanted to let you guys know about this in case there was anybody that would like to go. Just letting you know about the event schedule here on the 5th of November in Edinburgh. This will be hosted by licensed importers 4C Labs, Mar Medica and Integro. There are a number of speakers who I'm not going to name, but again, you can go ahead onto this link if you are interested and you live in Edinburgh and would like to go to this event. In London on the 6th of November, this will be hosted again by Integro Medical Clinics and Alternaleaf. Hey, this event will feature talks from prominent canna prescribing medical professionals, and it goes on to name Mr. Annops. So there you go, Dr. Matthews is going there. So that would be awesome. If I was closer to London, that's something I would definitely have gone to. There's a psychiatric along with Big Nasty who will be there. So I can imagine that Kieran, God in the Grass, will be there on the 6th of November. So have fun, Kieran. And lastly, we have Cardiff on the 7th of November. This is hosted by Cannabis Clinic Cardiff. And the November the 7th event is in Cardiff Bay. And this will bring an insight into the world of medical canna with a mental health focus. There will also be a lounge by the looks of it and a special guest showcasing a selection of dry herb vaporizers and sharing information on equipment and real life demonstrations. What a fun thing to do! I'm really, really like, oh, I really want to go, but 1, I hate London. 2, I don't live anywhere near London, and 3, I don't really go out of my house. So I wish everybody such a good time if you decide to go to either the Edinburgh, London, or Cardiff events. So we now find ourselves at the last article that I think's probably going to cause the most debate in the comments. So we'll start off with, this was written on the 29th of September this year, and this is from, again, the Guardian UK. Now, a couple of videos ago, I explained how I was so angry at the UK and how archaic we are. And I explained in that video that I don't understand why the UK don't look at what's working over here, i.e. Canada, America, and places like that, take what's working and bring it over here, right? Well, it seems to be that I'm not the only person that thinks that way, because this gentleman, Simon Jenkins, the title of the article is Britain's Prehistoric Attitude to Drugs Isn't Working, Why Not Learn from Texas? And then there's a small little subject line that says cherry picking what has worked from decriminalisation abroad is far preferable to building more prisons for drug offenders. So he goes on to say, what can a German do that a Briton cannot? What can a New Yorker do that a Briton cannot? What can Canadians, Dutch, Portuguese, Chileans, Uruguayans, and Maltese all do? The answer is that they can legally smoke canna. In California, there are now courses for growers, but in the UK, we'll throw you in jail. So it's quite obvious that we have an issue with being prehistoric and archaic towards this issue. Now, I'm going to go over a few of the paragraphs that I didn't like to read. As the title says, I'm not political, but after reading this, it does make me want to look into things more. But then on the other hand, is there any fucking point? Anyway, I digress. It says that successive Home Secretaries have a terror of even discussing the issue, right? So while other countries are thriving and actually discussing the issue at hand and what they can do about it, we actually shut people down. Tony Blair delegated drugs as so much of his policy to the Daily Mail and the Sun. While other countries researched, experimented, and piloted innovation, Britain simply shut down debate. Now, this is the part that I read that really, really infuriated me. When, in 2009, the government's chief drugs advisor, Professor David Nutt, he evaluated the relative harm of different narcotics, and what happened? He was fucking sacked. Get out. Get out. We don't want to hear about that. We want to hear about how harmful weed is. All right? We don't want to hear about the truth. We don't want to hear about facts. Get out. So that's what happened to him. Half of Britons are ready to see it legalised, with only a third wanting it to remain emphatically illegal. Now, here we go. The Liberal Democrats at the election came out for decriminalisation and saw 72 MPs returned. Yet Labour dared not to breathe a word on the subject. 5 years ago, David Lammy, now Foreign Secretary, visited Canada and came out strongly in favour of legalisation. We can see why Keir Starmer would not let him near the Home Office. Starmer's approach to penal reform appears to be build more prisons. I am not political. I do not follow the UK politics whatsoever. If anything, I know more about the American politics than I do about my own country. Now, I don't read the news, okay? So this needs to be... I don't read the news. I don't do any of that, right? I literally am the person that lives under a fucking rock. But it is hard to ignore the name Keir Starmer. I don't know this man. I don't know what he's done, but I can tell you now, I am seeing that he's a fucking Nazi. Everything I'm hearing about this man is that he's a Nazi and a dictator. I didn't even know which side he was on. So this is why I think it's going to get quite heated in the debates here, because it literally says, were Britain to edge towards drugs reform, it would benefit from being a late starter and able to learn from others. When the state of Texas, which still uses capital punishment, faced similar prison overcrowding to Britain, its response was to hive off drug offences into special courts and prescribe treatment and rehabilitation. Reoffending rates dropped by 30%. Imagine that. While the prison population has dropped by 15% since the scheme was first introduced in 2007. But we would much rather throw people in prison for a plant. And do you know what really... Right, sorry, I'm going off script here, even though I don't script anyway, but I kind of had a plan. But I'm going off plan here. Do you know what really, really, really frustrates me and, like, blows my mind? You can be sent to prison for a drug-related offence, which is against the law. It's a crime, okay? Okay. But when you get to that place that you've been sent to for doing that bad thing that you have done, it's more accessible in that place than ever, and you don't get in trouble. Because police, correctional officers will turn a blind eye to the amount of drugs that goes on into prisons to keep a safe and harmonious way of living as much as they can, right? They're not going to go in there and start taking away all their drugs and everything because it makes their life harder. So think about that for a second. You can be put into prison because of a drug that you are committing a crime of, yet the very place that they send you is the place that you don't get in trouble, and it's everywhere. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't fucking know. So, like I said, this article will be linked below if anybody would like to delve in deeper, because there is a lot that it talks about, specifically in the liberal states that have opened up decriminalisation for pretty much everything. It delves into the fentanyl issue that they have, and obviously if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can go ahead and read it at your own time. But this marks the end of the news segment. I wasn't as angry as I was in former videos, but this has put a deep perspective on things for me, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. It just seems like any time somebody in government stands up for the legalization, decriminalization, or just anything to do with that plant, they get shut down. They just get shut down. So it's like, what do we do? Like, what do we do? What do we do? I don't know. But yeah, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. If you vibed with this, hit the subscribe, like the video if you liked it and you want to see more things like this in your feed. Until the next time, I will see you later. Bye.
And I'm thankful for the fans that love the listeners. Yeah, and I'm thankful even for the ones that don't believe in us.